Happy March. Happy Saturday. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a great weekend thus far. Yeah, I just wanted to jump on real quick and talk about what happened this week and also talk about and answer any questions that you guys may have about what happened this week and what did happen this week. And there was something pretty cool. Been working on for a little bit. But first, I just want to thank Dylan Bates, Eric Lenz, and also Serge M for helping me making sure that this whole launch happened very smoothly. So thank you guys for being supportive and answering the questions as they came up. And also Dylan Bates for all your tutorials on motion. But so what happened this week? This week, oh, let me just bring it up. This week we had a nice little launch. Had a nice little launch of my plugin set for Final Cut Pro called Power Tools, or Lightning Bolt Tools, technically. But yeah, the shorthand is Power Tools. And it's a set of plugins for Final Cut Pro that are very much utilities. So they cover power cuts. This is more for jump cuts. Power moves, which moves images around. So if you have footage or graphics or anything like that, it will move them around nicely. And then we have power zooms. Let me just get back out here and I can zoom in there a little bit better. Bam. And then we have power zoom. So it's a set of 23 plugins altogether that I launched. And there's also a free version called Power Tools Lite. Let me just click on that. Where is it? There it is. So if you want to just test it out, it's, where is it? Bam, let me zoom out. And this is just to give you a taste of what these kind of plugins do. There's a set of 6 that are adjustment layers and also effects. But yeah, I wanted to talk about specifically Power Tools, the full bundle. It's a set of 23 plugins that do a whole bunch of different things. And there's a link in the description that goes over every aspect of this and every tool that's in there. And these are tools that I use constantly over and over again. And the way it happened is I started to just build them out slowly. And then I shared them with a couple of buddies of mine. And they're like, hey, these are pretty cool. You should package them up. And they're the ones that kind of convinced me to put it all together and release it out there. See what you guys think. Because these are very useful plugins for me. They're not subscription based. They're plugins. You buy them once, and you know, any future updates, you get that. So I wanted to kind of put these out there. It's a whole set of, these are all the plugins that come with it. So you have the power cuts, which are meant adjustment layers that go over jump cuts. And I'll do little demonstrations here in a second. If you guys have any questions specifically about any of these, let me know. There's also power zooms, which do a whole bunch of zoom in and zoom out effects, power moves, specifically power window, because I've always wanted to create in Final Cut Pro the 3D perspectives that that you can do in pretty much any other application except for Final Cut Pro. I don't know why you can't take an image and then just manipulate it in 3D and move it around. But it's not just manipulating in 3D. I added a whole bunch of other things on top of it, like where you can add glows and strokes and a whole bunch of other stuff that's that just, it feels like it should be there. I also wanted to create a pop in and out animation that was a little bit more that has a lot of the smoothing and just a nice pop animation. But yeah, it's a whole bunch of tools that I use regularly that are in that should be in Final Cut Pro, that you should be able to do these things. If Final Cut Pro had ease in and ease out, like all this stuff you could build, you could just do in Final Cut, but it doesn't have it, so you have to use third-party tools, unfortunately. Or you can do what I did and just learn motion and build them yourself, which I wasn't excited about, but I'm glad I went through it and learned it. Like I have like 20 years in After Effects, so everything motion graphics that I do is in After Effects. So I use After Effects and Final Cut Pro kind of in tandem. But there are times where I'm just like, I wish that I could just do this simple little move in Final Cut Pro. Now, there are third-party plugins that do kind of the same things, but I tried to build these out for very specific, the things that I wanted in them. It's not about trying to cobble many different effects together. So yeah, Alan, nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining today. And yeah, not subscription based. That was definitely a big one for me, that I wanted to make sure that that we're all able to use these moving down the line. I don't know why everything needs to be a subscription, especially when some of these plugins and tools are awesome, but I don't like the idea of renting the plugins if I don't have to, especially when I've been using Final Cut for 10 years or more now. Geez, 2011, so we're at 14 years that I've been using Final Cut Pro 10. Now 11. Yeah, it's a fantastic tool, and just the idea of like the tools that I like using, having to pay a subscription for it, then that just automatically turns Final Cut Pro into subscription, which I don't like that idea. I already pay a subscription for Adobe products because that's what my clientele and work kind of relies on, so I stick with that. But in this case, where it's like creating for YouTube videos, creating for fun, Final Cut Pro is my de facto favorite NLE out there. So yeah, exactly. So power cuts are very much adjustment layers. Here, let me just show you. How about I just show you? So just gonna turn this on. So power cuts up here in that top corner. Yeah. Oh, of course, it doesn't want to go where I want it to go. So power cuts here specifically is a set of 8 transitions. They're meant to hide jump cuts, and there's flicker, shake, glitch, shake. I call them power flicker, shake, power glitch, power shake, power side blur. So these are meant to go over top of your edits. So let me just zoom out here, and I'm gonna zoom in down here. Not too close, not too close. So for instance, I'm gonna, instead of doing a transition the regular way where you have 2 clips, and this is something that I ran into quite often, where I have a transition, and if the footage is not long enough, Final Cut kind of goes, oh, I can't deal with this, and it moves your whole timeline, and it changes the pace of the edit because it's trying to fit the footage from here to transition. But so I created these as adjustment layers where you put them over top of your footage, and then it doesn't matter if your footage starts or stops right on that moment, because it's going to do that transition. So this is power glitch, and it just does a nice glitch transition, and just like other transitions, you can make the whole clip shorter so it does it faster. And so they're meant to kind of be as quick or as slow as you want them to be. So that's nice and fast. Bam, we're in and we're out. or if you want to go a little bit slower, you can make them slower. Now, one of the things that I really like about this is that I can take multiple transitions and stack them on top of each other. And that's something you can't do with transition. So I think that that's pretty cool, where I can add a glitch and a shake transition, and then create your own transitions as you go. So you can actually build these out and all mash them together to create what works for you, what works in your edit. So the shake one is, you know, something simple, and it's just hiding that jump cut. But it's not just a shake. It also has, I added in a radial blur, so you can change where the shake happens, and you can change where the radial blur happens. And I may update this one to be able to adjust the amount of blur as well. Let me know if you guys would want me to do that. And anyone that buys the whole package and the whole bundle of these will get automatic updates for any time I fix if there's any issues or if there's any little updates. So if I add some more transitions into this, you will get that. You'll get those. So, yeah, this is the shake one with the radial blur. What else? Yeah, so I like that. It just allows you to choose your edit, your pace, and where the jump cuts are. There's a wipe transition, and you can choose the angle that you want it to happen. So if you want it, so throughout an edit, you can use this one to have different wipe effects based on the edit, but you can also change all the colors to whatever you want. You can add a stroke to each of the lines. It's a nice quick edit. You can make them as fast or as slow as you want. Again, it's meant to kind of work fast, but also in a non-destructive way. And I like that I know where all these are in the timeline. But anyways, they are power cuts. They're meant to help hide jump cuts in a way that doesn't force you to change the pace of your edit. Because sometimes when you're doing a transition from one clip to another, if there is an audio clip that's like if you're cutting on mid-sentence or mid-word, that will transition also in, if you put in a transition where it literally cuts it. That cut remains a cut, which I think is actually pretty cool. And then I also created this one because I find myself doing this often for client projects where we would do a transition, like a wipe transition. Oops. Where we do a wipe transition, but this reveals this. Oh, I gotta turn off the other one underneath. So you can change the text. So new chapter. Oops. Nope. And because this is Final Cut native text, you can create whatever you want. So it's not limited to any of the styles that are. So we're just going to do flat graphite, and it's huge. And you can also change the background color to be a very specific color. A little too crazy. But if you don't want a color, I've also added in the ability to, I also added in the ability to put in your own background in through a drop zone. So I'm just trying to give you the kind of working ideas and the power that I use when I'm trying to edit. Like I want to have I want to have something that's pre-built, so in a template kind of form, but at the same time, I don't want it to be exactly like the template. I want to be able to expand it and really make it my own. So I don't want to be limited to the look or the way stuff animates in. So that's why I really want to create these in a way where they still give you the freedom to create your own style and your own look and just the overall aesthetic that works for your brand. Because essentially, the faster you can get into a look for your brand, the more people will be able to react to it or instantly say like, oh, I know who that is, because your colors are associated with it, your look, the kind of animation styles, the kind of transitions, the kind of overall branding package or broadcast package. Like, you know how a show has its look? When creating for YouTube, I think everyone should have, I think everyone should have their look for their show, for their presence online. So using the same color themes, using the same fonts, having a very familiar editing style, all that is very important. Like, I say Mr. Beast, I know you instantly know the kind of font he's using, the kind of colors, the kind of editing style. Like, that's why this kind of stuff is important, where these are tools meant to be able to be customizable to such an extent where they will just feel like your branding, like your feel. Because that's the most important thing. Like, every new project that I work on for clients, it's always a unique style, always a unique feel. They don't want to use something that would be that they have seen before. So that's why I'm trying to do something where it's more of a tool set than a template that you just, pop in your text and kind of run with it. So it has to feel like it's your style. That's the important thing. Thanks, man. Yeah, these are plugins that kind of just took my time with and built them out in a way that just feels like these are the plugins I use all the time, right? Like, these are the kind of transitions. This is how I built my show. So I wanted to start building on that. Then I started adding in, because I got a few requests from the people that I sent, the ones that I created out to. They're like, oh, can you do something like this? Can you do something like that? And I'm like, yeah, let's build those out. Yeah, power cuts is by far my favorite way to approach doing the jump cut hides, because sometimes it's like, that jump cut just does not feel right. It's too jarring. So doing something to transition into a new section is more important than, just trying to hide it. So you want to have this nice, you want to have it in a nice place. But anyways. So I've separated these out. Oh, where is it? So I've separated these out where there's power cuts, power moves, power zooms, and the tools light. It is free. So if you don't need everything, you can just buy the power cuts by themselves. And if I update that, if I add new ones, new cuts to that, or fix any bugs that may appear, yeah, those are going to get updates too. So you'll automatically, as soon as I post it, anyone that buys it will automatically get an update email, and it's just an installer, and it should replace everything because the naming convention is going to stay the same. So yeah, anyone that buys any of these is going to get an update when they get updated. So yeah, exactly. The reason I kind of bundled it together is it comes with way more. It's not just the plugins. There's also, where is it? There's also like an extra $20 or more worth of grunge backgrounds and animations that I use, also sound effects, and all the LUTs that I use for Canon cameras and the Sony cameras. So all that is in there as well as a big bundle. But yeah, these are all going to get updates whenever they need them. And I think I'm going to start working on something that is going to be outside of these, but more, again, the way I do my videos is like that. That's what I'm going to build out first, and then kind of look into what other people want as well. But so for anyone that's watching the stream that you haven't picked these up yet, there is a code in, oh, where is it? Yeah, there is a code to get 30% off, which is more than the 20% that I'm doing for this first week. So anyone that's watching the stream, get 30% off. And I'm also going to give a couple of these, the bundles away today. So just stick around for a little bit, and we're going to do a draw. And so I'm going to give a couple away. So if you haven't picked it up yet, there may be a way to win it today. And this is something that I think I was more stubborn with not learning motion because I was so used to using After Effects for so long. But I'm just in Final Cut so often, and I'm using the tools that help me. And it's like every day I'm reminded why I love Final Cut Pro, and just I keep coming back to it. I have to use DaVinci Resolve often on projects. I have to use Premiere Pro on projects all the time. But if I had my choice, Final Cut Pro would be my go-to editor all the time. And when I made the video saying, when I made the video saying that you know, Final Cut Pro is not pro anymore, a lot of people, even without watching the video, got really upset and like really angry at me. And it's just, if you watch the video, what I was actually talking about is I always had this hope, and this is going back 10 years, 12 years now, even longer, where Final Cut Pro is one of those things that, like, I wish that I could use it for everything. Like, that's how confident I am with it. That's how stable it was. It saved my butt so many times because of autosave, which was around for a decade before any of the other applications introduced autosave, which I never understood that. And I always had this hope that they would keep adding to it, because I came from Final Cut 7 or Final Cut Studio, and then when they released 10, it was missing so many pro features. Like, I don't think it had XML export. There was no, you couldn't do EDLs. You couldn't do anything that would share with any of the other applications that were so crucial to the pro pipeline. Like, there was no way to send an audio mix or just like an EDL or edit decision list to Pro Tools or any other application. There was no way to package these up. There was no way to share these, the projects with anyone. And it didn't matter that it was Mac OS, because Final Cut Pro was, Final Cut 7 was Mac OS only, and it was an industry standard. People loved it. But there was no way to communicate with color correcting suites or other editing apps. So it just, I always had this hope, like, okay, yeah, you know, they're just going to figure that out, and they're going to figure it out, and they're going to get to that point where pros are just going to, like, yeah, we get it. And so the video, when I made it, I was literally talking about how I don't think that Apple wants it to be pro, and that's not a bad thing. It's not. It comes down to Final Cut Pro has a great place in the creator community. It doesn't need to cater to a very small subset of the professionals, where I can do, as a professional, I can do everything in Final Cut Pro to a certain point, and then I can just export and then finish the rest in DaVinci Resolve if that's the way I need to do it. Though, if you're building a whole, if you're doing a whole editing thing with titles and graphics and stuff like that, there's no application that you can then take it and then drag it to something else. So I know if I'm working with a bigger client where there's going to be a lot of animation, visual effects, and all this kind of stuff, that I'm probably just going to start in DaVinci Resolve or even Premiere Pro if I have to, because it's going to be smoother on the tail end of it. But if I'm doing YouTube or I'm a crew of one where everything begins and ends with me, and then I have the kind of final say what applications we get to use, it's all done in Final Cut Pro. So it was more that Final Cut Pro wouldn't ever cater to the pro community in a way that DaVinci Resolve easily does right now. I don't think they've ever wanted to. That's kind of what I was talking about. Motion is not hard to learn. Hard to master, maybe. There's it's a lot of quirky stuff. If you ever used After Effects, there are things in After Effects that just come across very easily. Like if I wanted to parent one layer to another, it's very easy. You can just say, whatever this does, this is going to do that as well in After Effects. Like it's a simple connection. But in Motion, you have to link all these separate parameters. You have to link all these separate parameters in a way that it should be one button or like one link, where link, anything that this does, this is going to do it as well. And you can't really do that unless you nest it in, and then it animates that, but then you have to animate the group and not the thing. And it's just like, no, sometimes I want to animate this and then this just mimics it, but then you have to, it's a weird way of thinking. So I don't know. And it's a great little tool, but there are other things where it's like, I would love to be able to set up an animation in Motion that then in Final Cut, I want the ability to delay that animation by, say, like you offset that animation by, say, 30 frames, 60 frames. But there's no way to do that. And I'm like, so there are things like I wish that it had. So do you think Apple will discontinue Final Cut Pro? I don't think they will discontinue Final Cut Pro because there's a huge community already using it, and video is such a big part of creation on the Mac. I think they'll discontinue iMovie and just make Final Cut Pro free as the new iMovie default, because I don't know, anyone that uses iMovie is like, it's like Final Cut doesn't get love. iMovie is like definitely, you know, it's like the forgotten sibling of Final Cut, where at least there's a pretty intense community around Final Cut Pro that I think will continue. There's no reason, especially now that they have Final Cut for iPad. They made the development and its subscription, and people are still using it, I think. I don't really use it. If anything, if they discontinue it, I think Blackmagic will step up and maybe buy it, which would be fantastic, because then they can just take the magnetic timeline, put it on the cut page, and then they make it, they would make it kind of cross platform the same way that they did with Fusion, because Fusion, when it first came out, was PC only. And then the moment they DaVinci Resolve or Blackmagic bought Fusion, they made it cross-platform, which is fantastic. Now, I didn't have to use Fusion on PC only, so I kind of switched over to Mac totally. So will Apple discontinue Final Cut Pro? No, I don't think so. Not in the near future, but, you know, 3 years from now, who knows? I do think that they have a great opportunity to make Final Cut Pro the de facto editing software for creators on a Mac, in the way that CapCut is. So if they found a way to make Final Cut Pro not only on the iPad, but also do a version where it's meant on your phone. I think that would be a fantastic workflow if they played in that kind of realm. Left everything there. I keep adding the features as people get better. It kind of opens up to them. I think they would go subscription before they discontinue it. So keep that in mind. They may do that because Apple is kind of shifting into a services company. They are, because that's where they're making a good chunk of their money. Like iPhone sales are down, Mac sales are down. I think their biggest hardware sellers are the Mac Mini and the MacBook. The iPhone is still pretty high. There isn't anything really better than the iPad or iPad Pro. But like with phones, like I don't know what they can do to make an iPhone more appealing and like just something that knocks people out of the water. They definitely did a big miss with the Apple Vision Pro. I think they underestimated the power of AI, how AI would be taken in 2023. It just turned into this massive thing where they thought like, oh, we're going back into 3D, and people were like, yeah, not really. So we'll see how that goes. Yes, Dylan Bates, the Final Cut Bros course for Motion is fantastic. I have taken it. That's what helped me really get into the weeds and learn how to get around Motion. I kind of knew it, but definitely with his help, he makes it seem easy. Let's just put it that way. It's a fantastic course. I think Master Motion. Here, let me just find it. Let me just find it. Master Motion 5. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, this is the course. 39 lessons. Dylan, champ. Thumbs up to Dylan. I also know him personally, so I was able to pick his brain more than he probably wanted. He's like, dude, man, just watch the course. It's in the course. I'm like, so, but like in any of these modules, you can ask questions directly, and he's like top notch for answering them. So definitely something to check out if you want to learn Motion. This is a great course. It goes over everything. How do I not procrastinate being a team of one? Oh man. How do I answer that question? I procrastinate a lot, but at the same time, never been diagnosed with ADHD, but I'm pretty sure that there are moments where I just kick stuff into high gear, where I just put on music, especially majority of the work that I do is in After Effects. So it's a lot of motion graphics and editing. So I'm able to just listen to music and really hone in and focus. But there's something that just repetition of just doing the thing. The trick that I use is called the 2-minute rule, where it's like, if I need to do something and I find myself procrastinating, I'm okay, fine. I'm just going to start it for 2 minutes. I'm just going to do it for 2 minutes, and then I'll take another break if I'm just not into it. And 2 minutes is usually enough to switch gears into something else. And then once you start doing it, it's a lot easier to continue doing it. And then there are the other times where it's like, boom, I know I need to start on this, and I know I need to do that. I just do a 3, 2, 1 countdown and go, and just do it. Like it's that, I don't know if it's for me playing sports where it's just like, you know, once the buzzer goes, boom, you're off to the races, you go. But like that's another trick that I use where it's like, you know, like I'm scrolling on my phone, and then it's just like, okay, 3, 2, 1, and then like I stand up and I start doing the thing. So those are ways I get around procrastination. But then the other times where it's just like, you know what, I play a lot of chess online, and I use that as my go-to instead of picking up the phone. I have no notifications on for Instagram or Twitter or any of those things, where it's just like I know that if I open my phone up, I'm toast at that point, where it's like I'm gonna get sucked into doing that. So when you add more jump cuts, for example, to power tools, will these be free or free? If I add any tools to the packages that are already here, I'm going to they're going to be free updates. So until I create a new package of something else, then yeah, they're going to be free updates. I wanted to create it in a way where it's like it makes sense for you guys, and like definitely going to add more power cuts as they come along. Definitely going to add in more power moves. Like another power move, this is something that I use constantly, where I create things like this, where so not necessarily the text in the middle, that I may work on that a little bit later, but it's doing the split screen, but I wanted to have the control over where everything goes. I didn't want to start moving stuff and doing drop zones and anything like that. Like that's just a no-go for me. So I'm just gonna turn these off just to show you. So this is just a background that I have, and then I have a power slide left, which just animates this over, and I can choose where this ends. I can also adjust the scaling of and positioning of the, so we'll move it over and scale it in. But say I wanted to do a triple split screen. So I have that footage there, and then I have this footage here. So I have slide right, and right now it's gonna slide over to here, and that's where the footage is going to end. And so I'm just gonna turn off the second layer. So this one does that. And I think this is like a great tool if you have a block of text that comes in. You can do split screen. So I have slide left, slide, you can't see it here, but it's right here. So I have slide up, slide left, slide right, and slide up. So you can build these how you want. And then there's also pop and power window. And power window allows you to do stuff. Let me just close that out. So power window is just a simple tool to allow you to move stuff, but also allow you to, you know, change the perspective of it, but also be able to crop in top or bottom. And if you wanted to add a stroke to that entire thing, change it. You can change the color of that stroke or the opacity. There's also a drop shadow. But like in this case where I want to scale this up, and you can still have all the controls that you would have from the inspector. So in this case, I would add it, and then that just creates that transparent background. So I'm going to turn off the stroke. And I'm sorry, I'm not even, I should show you what I'm doing. That would be helpful. So I'm able to create strokes. I can rotate this left or right, and because I changed that the blending mode, I'm able to remove the black from this, because I do a lot of videos in the past, and I'm working on one right now, and I think this is what sparked it as well, where I'm talking about the Canon R8 and why I think it's the best entry-level full-frame camera. And I want to talk about the menu set and how I set it up and all that kind of stuff. So it's one of the effects that I just wanted to build, where as this whole thing is playing out, it's on screen with me, where I can go through it. I think it's a cool look instead of just going full screen. Like for instance, instead of going full screen like this, I wanted to do something where I'm on screen as well, because I'll be holding the camera and actually going through it, so you can see what I'm doing as we're building out the entire, like, how I set up the camera. So I wanted to do something like that, where it's more of a power window than it is an effect that just manipulates the look of the not the look, but like the transparency. What am I trying to say? Like the angle, the perspective. That's the word I'm trying to say. So, and in the free version, and this is something that in the free version I have. Here, let me just move this over. I can move that up here. So in the free version in Power Tools Lite, we have 3D perspective. So it does the same thing as Power Window, but it's just changing the perspective. You can't crop anything. You can't do any of that, the other stuff. And then I have Power Stroke, which is this. So this is the animation without anything else. This is just a 3D animation that I built for the logo for Final Cut Pro, my editor of choice. And then Power Stroke, I'll just build it from scratch. So if I add Power Stroke to this, it adds a stroke, but this is everything that you could ever want in a stroke plugin, where you can change the color, you can change the position, the width, you can fade the outside in, so it gives you like a fade off. You can make it bigger, you can make it smaller. You can also add in a glow to the entire thing. But you can also add in some streaks on top of it. And you can change the color of that. It also has color fringing, so you can do the chromatic aberration on this. And it creates a stroke effect that is much cooler than the simple border one that is built into Final Cut Pro. And this is part of the free package. So, and then the other thing that we have here is the pop animation. So right now it will have its center point to whatever graphic you're working with. So this will pop in from wherever you are, but you can change that 0 point, that anchor point, from where it pops into. So it'll pop in from wherever. But Power Moves has Pop Plus, which, oops. So Power Moves, oh, that's right, because I created a, oh, that's the other thing that I really like about Power Cuts, is that I can use it on a transparency, use all those effects, stack them how I like it, then make a compound clip, and then I have an animation in that is unique to that graphic, where without it, it's just, you know, it just pops in, because this has stroke and pop. That's the graphic. I didn't do any animation to it before, but then I can just add in the power cuts on top of it, and now I have, boop, that's flicker shake plus glitch. And so now I have this, but then I can go in and add pop plus, and it pops in as well. And just, I'm able to build in all these animations, something that's really hard to do in Final Cut Pro, like trying to choose the scale. And the difference between Pop Plus and Pop is that Pop Plus has different speeds. So there's one that just does a thud. There's one that is more, you know, just a pop in, and then there's one that's more of a lasso. So here, there's the thud. I'm just gonna turn off these glitch effects for now. So this is the thud. Oh, I should turn off, not have double. Here's the thud, boop, and it just bam, it just gets in there quickly. Then we have the standard pop-up, and then we have elastic, which is more fun. Doing. So yeah, there's stuff in the light version which is free, which is just to help you start building. And then there is ones that I spent more time and just added a little bit more features. And as I go and find like, oh, this will be cool, I'm gonna add those into the paid version ones, and just keep adding to it. Because like, again, Final Cut Pro is the best thing that if you're an editor and you want to get up to speed and start creating content fast, there's nothing better than this. There isn't. Okay. Oh, let's catch up on some of these comments. Thank you. Yeah, the little icon really makes the tool stands out. It's very easy to find. Sometimes I download too much. Yes, yeah, exactly. I wanted to do that exact same thing where I just use that icon. Let me just scroll up here. Yeah, it's like all the tools are up here: power cuts, power tools, and power zooms. It's all kind of stacked together. So the tool set is kind of linked together. The same thing. And I started that because that's the icon I used for my favorites when I created all my favorite, like all the title effects and stuff. I put it all into one, and I was able to find it. And I was like, I like that. I like the way it looked. That's where that came from. The discount code is PowerStream. Okay, let's do that giveaway as well. So, but yeah, well, there you go. I guess I won't change that. It's 40% off. There you go. Even better. Top 3 plugins for Final Cut Pro. It was an easy answer up until, I would say, like 2 months ago, where it's hard to say because anything that I say right now is going to be linked to a subscription that are my favorite. So if you don't want to, like, just mentioning that some of these plugins are a subscription gets people so upset, and I understand. It's genuine. It's absolutely justified. But like, these plugins are still great. They're worth it. But if you're just making YouTube videos for fun, or just kind of doing it as like you haven't leveled up to that point yet, then I get it. Like, paying $30 a month just to rent your plugins, that's hard. That's a hard thing to do. But definitely my favorite plugins, they're mostly from Motion VFX. But again, you can't buy the plugins anymore. You just have to get Design Studio, which I think is worth it. I think it's a fantastic thing if you can justify the $30 a month. But my favorite plugin, Magic Mask from Final Cut Pro. It actually saved my butt on a large scale project where one of the clients that I was working with, they shot on a blue screen just this clip of a woman. Let's see if I have it. Give me a second. Let's see if I have it. So it open project. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so let's see. Come on, it's loading up. This is an AK file, so let's see if you can catch what the issue may have been. Oh, I think it's trying to download the file. So as that loads up, let me get back to the comments, and I'll show you once that loads up. Thank you. Yeah, anytime there is an update to Final Cut Pro, I'm gonna update. I'm working on one video right now that talks about two very specific things that I completely missed. I just didn't add it. I thought I did cover it, but so I'm going to be talking about the reframe plugins that are in Final Cut, that came in Final Cut 10.8. But yeah, and yeah, absolutely. I'm going to keep adding to that. I think I'm going to start adding very, very specific effects. Like I'm going to do a whole video about the keyer in Final Cut Pro, because I'm finding out that people don't really understand how to use it properly, which is fine, no problem. We'll cover it. I'll talk about it. I actually think the keyer in Final Cut Pro is fantastic for the speed and everything you can do with it. It's great. But yes, absolutely gonna keep making content for. I guess I should edit that because it's 40% off. Can I edit that here? No. Anyways, it's 40% off. So, and this is only going to be live during the stream. The percentage off, it's 40% off. Take advantage of it. I think my fat fingers pushed the wrong button. Hey, but you guys benefit, so that's cool. Yep, you will automatically get notifications sent to you. So anyone that has purchased it, and I've already tested this out, the moment I add in the new download package, a message pops up and says, everyone that purchased this will get a notification that this has been updated. So I apologize to anyone that bought power zooms, because that was the first one that I posted. And I didn't even mention it, but 2 people already bought it, but it wasn't done yet. So I actually had to go and keep updating it because something kept, it wasn't working properly. The installer wasn't working. So for those 2 guys that bought the power zooms before it was launched officially, I'm sorry for all the emails that you probably got going, what's wrong with this dude? Anyways. Yeah, sorry about that. I zoomed. Thank you. All right. No, thank you. Appreciate that. What is the main thing Final Cut Pro needs adding? For me, it's decent keyframe editor. Yes. Number 1 on my list. Ease in, ease out would be golden. Would be fantastic. But the other thing is, I would love for Final Cut Pro to be able to have the ability right here. It's still broken on me, but right here, Final Cut Pro has something that is called rolls, audio rolls and video rolls. But audio rolls allows you to group specific audio components together. Like if you have dialogue, you can group that into one audio roll. If you have sound effects, group that into another audio roll, and then music. And it creates this beautiful looking stack of color-coded things that are all adjusted. But I would love for Final Cut Pro to not be broken right now. It crashed on me. Sorry, guys. Let me open it up. I'm trying to download an 8K file from Dropbox, and I think that's what did it. But I didn't lose anything because it's constantly saving in the background. That's what Final Cut Pro is awesome. So, for instance, so you see how, let me just move that out of the way. So down here, you can see that I have the sound effects, and let's just choose another one. Come on, Raph. So I'm just going to open up this one. So I have sound effects here, and I have the music, and then also dialogue. And here, everything is nicely placed into roles. And for me to be able to add an audio effect like compressor or equalizer or channel or you know, like a denoiser or anything that is specific to everything that is everything that is dialogue or everything that is a sound effect or everything that's music, I have to make a compound clip, and then all the components are available. But it's already available here. Like if you press this button down here, it says hide or show audio lanes. So everything in this lane right here is dialogue. Everything in this lane is sound effects, and everything down here is music. So if I had more music, it would all show up in this, and it's color-coded green. I would love for Final Cut Pro for me to be able to take an effect. I'll just show you really quick. I would love to be able to get me off there. There we go. I would love to be able to take an effect, grab that effect, and then just drop it on this whole audio roll, or even here. I would love to be able to, and then that allows me to then control that audio effect over everything. But I can't do that. DaVinci Resolve, and it would be called a bus, because DaVinci Resolve has that, where you can tell. Sorry, there we go. It's playing. Sorry about that. I apologize. So DaVinci Resolve has something called audio buses, which takes all those audio clips and puts them on a bus, and then that bus all travels together. Essentially, that's the metaphor that I use. So you can have everything, anything that is added to that bus will get affected by the effects. So audio rolls, I would love for Final Cut Pro to be able to add that in. And then an actual audio mixer. So if I have multiple rolls, I would be able to see each audio and adjust the volume across the entire thing, not just try to find very specific clips and then try to do that. Like, you can do this, where if I selected everything and then just created a compound clip of the entire thing, and then you open up expand audio components, there it is. There's the dialogue, there's the sound effects, and there's the music. And so now I can take an audio effect and then drop it in there. Why can't I do that without doing the compound clip? I don't understand what's the coding behind that, why that is broken. So that's the thing. If I could, I would. Yes, background saving is fantastic. Though I have run into things where it's like I needed to open up a project from a couple years ago, and I had to go into the backups to open up a version because for some reason it's not opening up the most recent version. Okay, let's do a giveaway. I'm going to give away 2 versions or 2 copies of Power Tools, the entire bundle. Let's do that. Let's do that together, shall we? We're gonna, and I'm just gonna get off of here. So very simple. Anyone that's in the stream right now, you have a chance to win. I'm gonna give away 2 copies. The 2 closest people to the number that hits right here, I'm gonna press that start button right there and choose a number between 1 and 1,000, and the 2 closest people will get a free copy of Power Tools, not Pro Tools. That's a whole different thing. So if you're watching right now, I'm going to hit that start button. And when I stop it, when the music stops, where is it? In 30 seconds. It's getting there. Okay, I'm gonna play it one more time, and I'm gonna type in stop. $9.99. Love it. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna type in stop into the chat, and then we're gonna have a winner. So the two closest people to the number that pops in on screen will get free copies of Power Tools. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Pro Tools right now. And so you're gonna have to find me either on Twitter or Instagram, or send me an email that you won so I can send you that code. Okay, here we go. I'm typing in stop now. And there you go, 245. Okay, Patrick, you technically put in after. So, I don't know. I already typed in stop. So, Patrick, you're so close. You came in right under the gun. But, so the two closest people, I think, are James and So Nice Media. Am I correct on that? Chat, let me know. I want to make sure that I did get it. You know what, Patrick? I don't know. What do you guys think, chat? He was up before. Is that true? Let me know. Let me know if that came up before. Let me know. Let me know, guys. So, James Wells and So Nice Media. Guys, find me on Instagram or Twitter. DM me or just find me that you're there. That way I can send you the link to download Power Tools for Final Cut Pro, the entire bundle. Congratulations, guys. Okay, now I'm confused. You know what? It was up before it stopped. So, okay, fine. Patrick, you know what? You're going to get it too. How about that? So, I'm going to give away 3. I'm going to give away 3 to So Nice Media, to James Wells, and Patrick. Find me on the Twitter or Instagram. On Instagram, it's Raf Ludwig, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, congratulations, guys. And thanks so much for hanging out with me today. And yeah, let's do this again. Let me know what you guys think overall of the package. I also reduced my... the course has been reduced in price as well. So if you guys are interested in that, you guys can check out enhancededit.com. Check out enhancededit.com, which is my Final Cut Pro masterclass, and it's within 10 hours you're going to be cutting like a pro with Final Cut Pro. So check that out. Guys, have a great day. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. Happy March to everyone. And yeah, enjoy it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye for now.